right, so we're stopping by the Eutechnyx booth here at GDC to learn a little bit more about, well, a little bit more about everything they're doing. First thing that strikes us, of course, this car right here, and that's your sort of NASCAR heritage, the games that you're making for NASCAR, but you've got a really big thing coming as well, something that you've been sort of letting people have a go at, Auto Club Revolution, a really ambitious project, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's certainly ambitious. I think it's revolutionary. We've been making racing games for over 13 years. I think what really gamers expect these days is more than just a racing experience. And so we're spending a lot of our time and resource investing in building a community of car fans around the racing experience.
Can you tell us a little bit how you're doing that? What is it? Because this is something that has sort of been missing from the PC space.
I think it has, yeah. I think there isn't a defining racing game title in the space until Auto Club Revolution. I'm sure there's, I think people would largely agree that Forza was the title for Xbox 360 and Gran Turismo for PlayStation 3. But there really isn't one yet for free-to-play, and we know that space can be ours if we continue to make the evolutions we're making in our game.
So traditionally for PC racing, it's been very simulation-based, sort of hardcore kind of things. And that sort of area. How are you doing things differently, and are you doing things differently, or can you expect that sort of level of simulation as well?
Well, yeah, and you're right, and there's an absolute great market for hardcore racing simulations, and I think they're really important to the industry. We build our game with hardcore in mind. You know, we're using real race physics, we're using a real engine, the correct driving dynamics for each vehicle, and we work very closely with the motor industry to make sure that their vehicles perform in the way they would in real life. Likewise with the tracks we use, they're realistic, they're laser scanned, they're accurate down to a few inches. But I think you're right. I think the more casual user, they don't want that, you know, worrying about that, all of the assists off. So we've made Auto Club Revolution suitable for hardcore, but we also allow you to switch on a number of assists which make it fun for players like I.
So it is sort of the. I just got to look at the game, and it's the sort of the level of complexity and the sort of customization and social activities you can engage in is quite deep. So can you talk us through a little bit about that and sort of the browser part of the game, that the non-racing part of the game, if you will, that perhaps is the greater part of the game, really?
I think you're right, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think people know what to expect from a racing game. If they drive around a track, they kind of know what that looks like. But we know that online, people are spending more and more time online, and their personality is very important to them. We call it their interest graph. So, you know, if you look at my Facebook page, there's no interest to you at all. I look at yours and there's no interest. The reason it's interesting to me is that it's things I know and love about, things that I like. And Auto Club Revolution is the same. We've built the whole game front end. That's everything other than the racing is built in the web browser. So that gives us the same flexibility that Facebook has with creating content relevant. So we allow car customization. So you're customizing your car, you're adding your personality to your vehicle, you're upgrading it and you're making it fit for each race, but you're doing all of that in the web browser. But you're also hanging out with like-minded friends. You know, if you're into Jaguar cars, for example, you hang out with the Jaguar guys. If you're into BMWs, you hang out with the BMW guys. And it's about making that content relevant. That's why the web's been so successful. That's why Facebook's very successful. And that's why we think Auto Club Revolution will be so successful.
You mentioned the free-to-play angle, and there are a few free-to-play racers out there. How are you sort of considering the monetization, and where do you want to go with it?
So it's a good question, and it's kind of the million-dollar question, really. There are other racing games out there. We have decided upon a no-compromise policy, so we don't allow any non-licensed content within our game. There are some racetracks we've created for gameplay reasons, but other than that, everything else is completely licensed. We're also very strict about our free-to-play model. There's no pay to win in Auto Club Revolution. So the experience is the same for a non-paying player as it is for a paying player. And we think that's critically important, because who wants to be in an empty party? You know, the experience has to be great for those people that, even if they're not paying us, they're helping create a community, they're contributing to content, they're making it a fun place to be. So we treat them as valuably as we do with paying players. And that's really our philosophy with Auto Club Revolution.
So right now you're in beta, and players are enjoying the game, and sort of, can you tell us a little bit where you're at with the game and sort of what's next for it?
Yeah, we've got loads and loads of things planned for it. I mean, the last year has been about finding those things that our key players don't like. It's a strange environment when you're looking for bad news. You know, you want the players to say, hey, we tried this out, we didn't like it, we think it'd be better if it was like this. We didn't really want the good news. So we've spent a lot of time working with our community, and we have the best community in any free-to-play game. The feedback we get is amazing, the dedication we get back from those, and the bug reporting is incredible. So we think Auto Club Revolution is a richer experience because of those guys. What's coming next? We've got a lot of plans. Some very, very cool stuff coming up. You have to watch this space.
So is there anything specific that surprised you when players got into it that they said that they wanted or that they didn't like, something that you hadn't thought about?
That's another good question, because if you ask somebody what they want, they'll tell you, and often it's not always what they do want. So when we ask
what they need,
what they need is a good point. Yeah, they'll tell us they want a particular racetrack, and actually we were talking earlier about real life F1 tracks are pretty challenging to play. So they say, hey, give me, and they name a racetrack, and we go, well, do you really want that? Because it's not a fun experience. So what we do is we'll respond to content that players want, but we'll also track the data of what they actually use. So we make decisions based off what they ask for, but also what we see them doing as well, because I think our data probably tells a better story than necessarily the request information coming in.
So for people who want to join, is it free to join now? Is the beta open to join, or what's the situation?
Yeah, absolutely. We're an open beta, so head over to autoclubrevolution.com. You can sign up for a free account there, and you can be up and playing within just a few minutes.
And at some point you'll remove the beta tag and it's all fully there, right?
It's a huge internal debate, actually. I mean, Google kept their beta tag on Gmail, which is arguably the most robust email system in the world. They kept that on there for I think about 8 years. So will we ever be finished with Auto Club Revolution? No, we won't. But what we're doing is retaining those early beta testers. We're retaining those through the experience, and as we roll out new content, we can poll those guys and get feedback from those guys as we go through this. But we'll remove the open beta. I think we will, and I think we may do that even this year.